Welcome to World Travel Made Easy with Itinerary Boss, the podcast for busy professionals, entrepreneurs, and business owners who want to travel smarter, save money, and plan unforgettable trips without the stress. I'm Ross, your host and the founder of Itinerary Boss. I spent a decade building a career in healthcare, software, and medical device sales while planning both personal and business trips across more than 20 countries. Whether it was group getaways with friends, couples trips, or just mapping out business territories, I became the go-to person for saving money on flights, organizing those logistics, and using points to elevate the experience. Now, as an entrepreneur and business owner, I help others do the same by showing you how to travel better using points, smart planning, and those proven strategies. Each week, we bring you expert guests, step-by-step tutorials on points and miles, and real-world itineraries that we've used to help you plan with confidence. Whether it's using points to travel better, exploring a new destination, or just learning how to maximize your spending, we've got you covered. Before we dive in, go ahead and grab one of our free tools in the show notes. One, the points and miles cheat sheet that'll help you get started earning and redeeming points to save thousands on travel, or the stress-free travel toolkit that includes a budget guide, packing checklist, and planning tips to save you time and hassle. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or busy professional looking to choose your next credit card or get help maximizing your everyday spending for rewards and booking free travel, book a free one-on-one consultation. You can find the link within the show notes or head over to itineraryboss.com. And if this episode helps you, please share it with a friend or family member, follow the show, and leave a 5-star review. It's the best way that helps us grow. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of World Travel Made Easy with Itinerary Boss. Today, we're diving into the world of credit cards, rewards, points, and miles with our expert guest, Dave Grossman, the founder and CEO of Miles Talk and Your Best Credit Cards. He's a top voice in the space and really looking forward to talking to him. How's it going today, Dave?
It's going great. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on the show. And I think our listeners are going to learn a ton just about all things rewards and be able to, whether they're new to the points and miles game or they're an expert, they're going to learn something today. So
Hope
excited
so.
to, yeah, no, I can tell just from talking to you a couple different times. But love to just hear a little bit more about, what is Miles Talk? What is yourbestcreditcards.com?
Sure. So my Miles Talk, for a little background, I've been doing miles and points for about 20 years. So I've been through, you know, the very beginning of message boards and being the only way that people, a lot of people I'm sure still know Flyer Talk, and that was really the only way I consumed information back when I was starting out, which was good and bad because you kind of had to really focus. Yeah, you'd read threads that were 400 pages long and just had to get to the end because that was the only way you were going to find that one post that had what you wanted. Um, I started Miles Talk, so I went through a few different travel businesses and whatnot. And in 2016, I got invited to speak at South by Southwest, sort of out of nowhere. And it went so well that people sort of encouraged me to start a blog. And Miles Talk just kind of birthed out of that. The name is literally, I searched a million different domain names that was available. Some other Miles and Points people had actually bought it for another purpose, and then they let it go because somebody, I guess, said it sounded like Miles Stock. And so that's why you'll notice whenever I write out Miles Talk, I always capitalize the T and it's one word. And I almost never hear anyone say that. And if they do, I'm like, that's cool. We're stalking Miles. Um, so I just started as a hobby, started a Facebook group, started blogging. And it took a few years before it started to roll, but it did. And I said, I'd like to spend more of my time doing this. I think I can make a career out of this. And and the entrepreneur part of me, and I've been working for myself for well over 20 years. And it's kind of like, okay, I want to think of a concept that I can scale, but while doing this fun stuff that I love. And so I kind of had the brainstorm of like Miles Talk will be my educational thing, right? Like I've written a book called Miles Talk. It's kind of my brand, but what could I build that's a scalable business? And what kind of popped out at me was an automated Dave. I was thinking this is literally how I termed it for a long time. Because people would always ask me, what's the best credit card or what credit card should I get? And I was like, do you have a half hour? Because as you know, there's so many factors that go into it. Like there is not a best credit card, right? Like I could tell you my favorite credit card, which changes from time to time. I could tell you what cards I have in my wallet. I could tell you what cards I have, which is like 45. Um, but I don't know what's good for you until I know, is there a lot, is there one or two or three categories you spend a ton on? Do you care about like an intro APR period? First of all, are you in debt? Because if you are, like, let's not get any of these cards and let's work on getting you out of debt. And maybe we need to get you a balance transfer card and pay down the debt, and then we can talk.
Yeah.
That's always my number one thing in miles and points is like don't even dabble in this if you can't possibly carry a balance and then beat that with rewards, right? So I'm sure you tell everyone you work with that's number one. Um, but I kind of thought like, hey, maybe I could make an algorithm that's, my head, right? What is my decision tree? And I'm thinking about like, so the version one of the website that launched in 2019 really just took into consideration bonus categories. And so we would order.
Hey, I wanted to take a quick break to say thank you so much for tuning into the show. The only way the show grows is through listeners like you helping us share it. So if you're enjoying the show, it'd mean the world to me if you hit that 5-star rating, shared it with a friend or family member who's ready to travel more, save money, or just needs a little bit more inspiration and that nudge. And if you're posting about it on Instagram, go ahead and tag Itinerary Boss, and we'll make sure to reshare it and shout you out for giving us a shout out. Thanks so much for the support. It truly means a lot. And now back with the
We
show.
would order cards based on the value of the point times how many points you would be getting for your spend, etc. It was pretty simple. And then we relaunched. Things obviously were going better and better. And so I invested a lot into a relaunch in 2022, I think, the end of 2022, where we just really went all out. And so now your best credit cards is so much more than an automated Dave. It does do those calculations still, but you can filter by features and benefits that you want. So you could get like, oh, these are this orders the cards for me for spend, but I only want a card with no foreign transaction fees, and I don't want to spend, I don't want an annual fee more than $100. And you do those two filters, and like it'll just narrow it down to a handful of cards, which is the whole point, right? To make it easy. And then we also built these tools, transfer bonus notifications, so that you always know if there's like you have Amex points. Okay, I want to know when there's a bonus to Virgin, whatever. And we made it really easy to sign up. So you don't have to bookmark a page and remember to check it. You don't get emailed about every single offer. It's tailored exactly to what you want, completely free. And we do the same thing with bonus offers. Like, hey, I know I want this card, but I want to wait until the bonus offer goes up because I know it's been higher before. So you can subscribe to that card. And then we save your spend profile so that if over time that changes and you want to reevaluate your cards, or if you even want, we have card combos. So, oh, I have this card and that's my only card, and here's my spend. What's the next card that I add to it? And we'll tell you exactly how much you increase your total rewards for the year on it. It's super, super powerful, super fun. And it's like, it's a combination of everything I'd ever want in a site like that, mixed with all the feedback I got from the first version of the site.
I mean, I'm already, as you're talking, I'm just thinking, man, I wish this was around in 2014 when I first opened my card. And I like so many just, and that's what I mean, everyone who I talk to, it's all exactly what you said. What's the best credit card? And it's
Yeah.
like you said, 30 minutes and it's everyone's personal, what is their spend profile? But for me, it was why that's so valuable. And what you built is, I was always kind of thinking, how am I going up? Like, how am I climbing this ladder with my spend? What am I now spending on? Because everyone's spend changes, right? You're going to probably spend more as you start to make a little bit more. You're going to also travel more, to different places to have different seasons of life. And,
Yep.
you're probably going to spend more on groceries and shopping when you have kids versus when you're either single or like with your
Oh man,
significant other. So
my
it's
weekly grocery bills are. You know what? The saving grace when we check out every week is tapping that Amex Gold card, and I'm like, at least I'm getting 4x on this.
right. And I laugh because my mom is because I have two other brothers and we just grew up and she's like the bill that you guys put us through because going through puberty, growing,
Yeah.
playing sports, just
Oh
eating,
yeah.
having people over. She's like, our bill is insanely low now that you guys are out of the house. And I'm like,
I can
wow, I,
imagine.
I really wish you guys had the Amex Gold then. You guys would have been traveling more and we probably would have gone to international places.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that and that's true. And that's something that um my young son has benefited from. Like at a year and a half, he did Emirates to Italy,
Oh man,
riding in style in a bassinet.
crazy.
So yeah, I definitely, I mean, I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money and we stayed at the Holiday Inn and Hampton Inn and stuff like that. And we didn't travel very much, mostly driving trips.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think we ever went internationally other than Canada or Mexico. Um, I did a study abroad when I was in college, and my parents did come to visit me in London. But yeah, I definitely didn't grow up though, now, yeah, I'm insane. Like I'll want to try out a specific type of plane product. I'll be like, oh, first class to Japan on the new A&A just opened up. I think I could fit in a weekend there. Right? Because like as a dad, I can't go for, I can't just go for a week
Yeah.
for no reason. But I'll go for like 3 days and then, I mean, not more than once, maybe twice a year, but I would love to try out those new products that you can, like right now my on my wish list are Emirates, the new first. Still haven't been on that. I did ANA first class on the new one, so that's checked off. But the new JAL first, I still haven't done. So um, on that trip, I was able to ride Starlux back, so I
Oh,
checked that
nice.
one off.
That,
But it's
that,
hard trying to get all these in now. But it's, that's the thing is what I feel like one of the strengths of the ecosystem. And so I guess, you were asking from a business point of view and like how this came about. And I decided that really what works well is an ecosystem where Miles Talk is the educational arm and Your Best Credit Cards is a more transactional arm, but still with helpful free tools. So we're not always just pushing you to get a card, even though obviously that's how it makes money. And just be in your world helping you maximize, right? So that the whole point is like, sure, the bank pays us a commission when you get a card, but the idea is you might open a card one time in a year or in 2 years, and the whole rest of that year, 2 years, we're helping you get the most value out of those points, right? So we're a growing trusted community on the one hand, and then we have that on the other hand. Um, and sure, there are miles and point sites that just have credit card links, but this allows me to sort of scale the business in a way that I don't think I don't think most other um, miles and points communities can do.
yeah, I agree, and I think it's awesome because the big one of the other biggest things is it's like, okay, someone goes and gets a credit card, and then their thing is, okay, I got this one credit card, I spend money on groceries, that's it. But I do want to get another one, but I don't want to have to track it. I don't want to have to know like how many points I
Right.
have. I don't like all of that stuff is so confusing, and it's just there's just a lot of information. It's one extra step. I don't want to have to do it. And like
Yeah.
that, what you've built is like you're guiding people into an ecosystem where they're gonna want it's gonna make it easy and they're gonna want to continue to learn and be like, oh, this is great, and kind of see the value and
Yeah.
the vision of, hey, this is actually what's possible with points and miles.
Yep. And that is really the point. And even, they are intertwined where if you're on your best credit cards, we have little boxes like, hey, do you want to get involved in a community talking about credit card rewards? Join the Miles Talk Facebook group. So we do, we get tons of new members that come in through Your Best Credit Cards, maybe through a search,
Mhm.
and they didn't even know it existed. And so it definitely goes both ways, and it has become a really cool full cycle ecosystem. And shout out to my team on the site. There is a pretty good sized team working on Your Best Credit Cards. It's just me on Miles Talk, but although the Facebook group we have three great moderators. But the team that works on Your Best Credit Cards, what I love about them is none of them are credit card junkies. But like for instance, the project manager on Your Best Credit Cards, despite not being a credit card person, he really, really got into it to the point where I'll suggest a feature and he'll one up me. I'm like, yeah, no, that is a great idea.
I love it.
So it's kind of like just me, but it's definitely not just me.
That's cool. No, it's I mean the website looks amazing. If people if you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out, and it'll help you. just get started, and just as you continue down that points and miles journey, it'll just help you continue to just keep going. And one thing that I like that you said is that community. I mean, I think that's huge, right? A lot
Yeah.
of the times it's when you do this on your own, it gets overwhelming, if you aren't like, hey, I can go conquer this. So having that community of like people who have made mistakes, or if you just ask a question, or a lot of the times when people are saying, hey, I just did this, this is how I did it. A lot of the times the best part is seeing people comment to ask probably the same questions that, you're thinking or you're going to ask. And
Yeah.
that just leads to more engagement, and it's going to help you learn. And also once you're in that, right, it's like, if you have questions and you're like, hey, I don't want to screw up and like make a bad points, right? Like, and
Yep.
make that one, everyone's made them when they first started, make that
Oh,
mistake. It's like, just ask the question in the community, and you know what I mean? You're going to start to, and it's similar to just like working with different entrepreneurs and business owners. It's like, you
yeah.
don't learn everything on your own. You get it from mentors, you get it from other people who've made the mistakes and from different walks of life. And that's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife would kill me for saying this if she watches this, but I know she's not going to. Her last redemption before she met me, this is going back like 8 years. She went to Norway on her Amex points through the portal at a penny a point and coach. Wiped out her balance. Brought me to tears when I heard about this.
You'd be surprised. I've had multiple conversations. I mean, the people who I work with most are business owners and entrepreneurs, and I think probably 75% I've talked to, like, who are either, if they have a credit card, they have all these Amex points, to go, yeah, I just redeem it through the portal. So it's
Or they get gift cards, or they, yeah,
yeah.
I know it drives me nuts. And but right, like for you and I, it's our job to help them.
Hmm.
And 99% of them see the light and they're like, I had no idea that I could do that. And then there's the 1% that's like, I don't care. But like we can help that the
Yeah.
99%.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, just sitting down and having, I mean, just I meeting with people locally here. I'm in Charlotte, and just meeting with business owners here and just having coffee, like seeing the facial reactions of just like
Yeah.
jaws dropping and being like, wait, what? And just like eyes widening. That's
Yeah.
my favorite part of, you're kind of
When
saying,
they get it.
yeah, they get it and they're like, wait, I've been doing this wrong, but I can now go do this with my family, or me and my girlfriend, fiance,
Yeah.
wife, myself. What?
Yep.
So
And it's on both sides, right? It's the redeeming for gift cards or Amazon or something crazy like that. And then the earn side, I mean, I'll meet with business owners. It's become my default. I'm like, let me guess. You spent a lot of money on your card. Yes. You put it all on a business platinum card.
yeah.
Yes. Right. And we start from there, like 1x on just about everything. And then we talk about their spend, and like we could, right? It could be a 5-minute coffee conversation. I mean, I do full on
Mhm.
consults. I do full scale bit, like consulting style papers for big companies. I do one-on-ones with small companies, but over a coffee, it can be, okay, you spend how much? Oh, you spend 150,000 a year on gas because you've got a fleet. And you're putting that on your business platinum card, and you're like, get a business gold card, earn 4x on all that. Call me at the end of the year with your extra 450,000 points,
Yeah.
and then you owe me a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously. It's like that.
So easy.
I've had, I think, 10 conversations in the past 2 weeks where that is the exact thing that people are doing. And sometimes it's
They
just on
miss
the
it.
personal side too. And they're like, we don't even travel. We spend it all on
Right.
groceries and shopping. And I'm like, wait, what?
Right. And with Amex, you're not even getting a penny a point if you redeem it for like Amazon. I think you're getting point 0.6 cents.
Yeah.
So, and it's, if you think about it, right, like I think that one of my unique things in this, and why I speak at consumer conferences like Frequent Traveler University. I also speak at industry conferences like CardCon. And I think it's because I get the business side of it also. So I
Mhm.
understand why they have those point 0.6 cents Amazon redemptions. They're fueling our transfers to Hyatt,
Yeah.
right? It's got to balance out somewhere, or we wouldn't get the stuff that motivates us. But the stuff that motivates us gets us talking about the cards,
Mhm.
right? To friends and family, you take that business class trip that you used your Amex points for, you brag about your Amex points. So you kind of got to have all of it.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm glad we got connected through Robin, who you saw at CardCon, and I get
Yeah,
to on as get newer to this just from a business standpoint. I get to kind of learn a lot of those ropes and learn
yeah. I
back.
saw you just had her on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, she crushed it. She did a phenomenal job. And we
She
were
knows her
talking.
stuff.
She does. I learned a good amount from her. And I mean, it's kind of funny. She told a story about when her and another friend, she was using one of her travel cards that gets her like travel interruptions, travel delays,
Hmm.
insurance, and she booked direct. And then another family did book through the Amex portal with the Platinum. And they had layovers. They had to then drive to get to a cruise in Alaska. And she was able to get paid back. It was easier to rebook.
Yeah.
And then the other couple and family had to just go through like the OTA, figure all that out,
Oh
get
man.
reimbursed, like all that pain. So it's just like that peace of mind too. Just knowing too what comes with some of the cards and then knowing those tips and tricks. So yeah,
Yeah.
she provided a lot of value there, just if you're doing those type of trips.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she gave a tip of using a Chase Sapphire for taxes on an award ticket. So
Mhm.
that'll get you your full trip delay coverage. A
Yep.
lot of people don't think about that, right? Like the airline's credit card often won't give you the protection that you can get just putting the $5.60 on a Sapphire.
I literally put everything on that because I guess
Yeah.
that's exactly why. Yeah, I have that, and then my wife has the preferred, and she puts it on.
Yep.
So we use those for everything.
Good strategy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to just since we're talking about business owners and entrepreneurs, just since you started, Miles Talk and your best credit cards, have you kind of seen a shift? And also since you're doing business consulting, working with right business owners, do you feel like now more people are starting to do it
Oh
more
yeah.
strategically, or what's kind of the pulse there?
Yeah, I definitely would say I mean, man, just watching this over, like watching it over 2 decades, but then just watching it over the last 10 years, I would say, you know, I the points guy is probably quite responsible for raising awareness of miles and points.
Mhm.
But then beyond that, we started seeing Reddit groups, Facebook groups, and I think that between blogs, Reddit, Facebook, and some other outlets, obviously, um, people are people see people doing these things. Like I just took this, like to give you an example, when I started taking free business class flights in like 2003, 4, all my friends were like, "You're secretly rich. You won't tell us. We don't understand what's going on here, right? Like, there's no way that you're not secretly a multi-millionaire." I'm like, I am not. I'm using miles. And it would be end of conversation because they couldn't even wrap their head around this thing. It was so esoteric. And I'd say in the last 10 years, it no longer, or some people would be like, you're scamming the airline. Some Um, and now I would say that it has completely shifted where people pretty much all know that this is a thing, but they find it very challenging to figure out how to do it. And that, I mean, that's why I think we've seen a number of startups and funded startups doing automated award searches and stuff like that. Um, which does help level the playing field for people with less knowledge and does let them get those experiences easier. Although none of them are perfect, and you still, if you can, like us, like learn the old school way of how to search multiple airlines, use tools to set alerts, all that kind of stuff, you're gonna have more luck. Um, but I think that people get into the Facebook groups and Miles Talk, quick plug for the Miles Talk Facebook group. My number one thing is keeping it friendly because people that have a lot of knowledge like to talk down to people that don't have a lot of knowledge. And so we stop that in its tracks. You get one warning and then you're out of the group because we don't want anyone to ever feel afraid to ask a question. We've all been there. And yeah, sometimes it's repetitive.
I love it.
Um,
Hey, you don't
you
want
know,
keyboard warriors in your Facebook groups. Just
no,
I hate
no,
that.
that
Yeah.
there I hate that. I mean, I hate it on a personal level, and so that's not. I work very hard to make that the environment that we have, that it's friendly and welcoming to everybody. And look, if somebody doesn't want to be on board with that, they don't have, there's other Facebook groups. Like I'm not going to pretend we have the only Miles and Points Facebook group. Go to
Yeah.
another one. I don't care. But I know the community that I want to be a part of. And so if I'm going to lead a community, it's going to be one that I want to be in.
Yep.
Um, but yes, so I'd say it's been a seismic shift in people. They have the awareness now, and they know that they could be doing things differently. They still really struggle with adapting, right? Because, you know, like anecdotally, I will admit that when I was in college or, before, very early 2000s, I wouldn't pay an annual fee on a credit card.
Hmm.
I just hands down was like, why would I pay an annual fee when they're making money off me swiping the card? And now I think I pay over $4,000 a year in annual fees. And I make money off every single card that I pay an annual fee for, right? But there's this, I mean, that's one example of a mind shift that you have to have, and you need to sort of kind of got to be walked through it, right? In my book, I actually have a worksheet. One of the pages is the worksheet is called "Is the annual fee worth it?" And you literally list out the financial benefits that you're getting from the card, and then there's the annual fee, and are you making more than the annual fee, right? So what a quick example is if there's a free night certificate for a credit card. You're like, okay, I've had this card for 3 years. Every single year I've redeemed that for like an $800 hotel night, and the annual fee is $450. Okay, yeah. And then what are the other benefits? So you
Yeah.
total it up and you're like, I'm getting $1,400 in benefits for 450.
Yeah.
It's a keeper card. On the
Yep.
flip side, you could go through it and be like, we tell you to value certain things, right? So let's say you have 8 cards with priority pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm valuing it on this card at zero because I already have it, right? And I'm going to look at what's my best priority pass card. That's
Mhm.
the only one that it has value on, and then, right, because it's the only one I'm using. So, okay, that's a zero now. TSA reimbursement, have that on 9 cards, zero. So maybe now on this card, I get to the 450 and I've only gotten 250 in value. All right, maybe that's a cancel card or a downgrade card. Um, so there's a lot of strategy around it, but I got over that hump, right? And so I think that people that are brand new, there's the carrying multiple cards hump, there's the paying annual fees hump, and there's, and I'm painting very broad strokes, but figuring out how to redeem,
Yeah.
right? Because there's also, let's talk for 2 seconds about the cents per point thing, right? When you get into the Facebook groups and things like that, all anybody wants to talk about is how many cents in value they got for point. I got 20 cents per point on this first class flight, right? First of all, they're valuing it at the cash price of a one-way flight, which is not half of a round trip. But and then you get and then so first of all, uh who cares? It's really just you had an awesome experience that you would
Yeah.
have never paid for. You get the other people that say, well, you never would have paid for that, so it's worth what you would have paid, and you would have paid for economy. And that's wrong too, because you're not getting an economy seat. You're getting a first class seat. You're getting waited on hand and foot, given, $1,000 bottles of champagne. So I get worked up about that in this middle ground sense, right? Because I feel like most of the keyboard warriors are either cents per point's all that matters. And if you take a low cents per point, then you stink at this. And then there's the other ones that are like, why do you care at all? Right? Like, I'm happy I got anything for my points.
Yeah.
And I think it's somewhere in the middle. I'm just like, have good experiences. And I think that oftentimes those good experiences, my bottom line on it is I think that a good redemption does have a good cents per point, but it might only be 3, 4, 5 cents per. It doesn't need to be some insane
Yeah.
number, right? But like if I would have been willing to spend, $1,000 on a coach ticket, and then I spend 3 times as many miles and I get a first class ticket, and I'm traveling 15 hours, and that ticket sells for $25,000. I didn't get $25,000 in value really because I wouldn't have paid for it. But on the other hand, I did because that's the product that I got to
Mhm.
experience. And I never would have paid for it. And I'm an experienced guy.
Yeah.
So that's if anyone wants to know where I stand on the cents per point debate,
I
and
I'm
I've written about it. That's where I stand.
yeah, and I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's you have everyone who's like, oh, I got this much redemption. I think it goes back to like what you said at the beginning of when we were talking about what's the best credit card. It's like, what trip do you want to take, right? Because your cents per point, sure, for someone who can, leave tomorrow and they're single is going to be way different than, right, a family
Right.
of four or five who's like, we have a set schedule. Like we only can go when everyone else is going, when prices and there it isn't these saver rewards, right? It's gonna be harder to find some of these. So I think
Yep.
that's at the end of the day, it's like do what's best and what redemption you want because at the end of the day, it's coming back to experiences and memories, and
Yep.
those are the same things I hear. It's like once you get past that hump, it's well, I looked at credit cards for this many years, but I couldn't justify the annual fee. And you have a 5 minute conversation, you break it down, they go, oh, okay. And then they're like, all right, I'm
Right.
getting this card. And then,
Yeah.
but then it's like, okay, I have all these points, but I don't want it. Some people, oh, I redeemed them this way, or it's, oh, I've stacked these points for years and I have, 600,000 to 1 million points, but I don't know how to use them. And then it's, having resources. And so, yeah, I think what you guys are building just on your site and everything is great. And it's just going to help people through that just customer journey and experience and retention because they're going to get a ton of value of on the front end, hey, this is helping me with discovering what's best for me with some of the tools. And then after it's like, hey, now you've gotten here, now you've earned them. Like how do you want to redeem
Right.
those? And then what's
And I
best?
think for Yeah, and I think for some business owners, especially if they've got a family, if they've got young kids, like you're earning these points through the business. They're free because
Mhm.
it's business spend, right? It's not taxable and they're yours to do what you want with. So, take your family on a nice vacation,
Yeah.
right? You're working hard, take them on a nice vacation. And I will, I have a 3-year-old and I can't tell you how many times people are like, why are you taking him on all these vacations? I mean, he's been on like 9 vacations already. And they're like, he's never going to remember it. And I'm like, first of all, you don't know that because with the amounts of videos and photos we take these days, I think kids' memories are going to be a lot deeper than ours were as kids. Um, but also, we remember them. We
That's
know what a great time he's having. We have videos proving it, and we'll have those forever. So, just a quick sidebar. If you're one of those people that thinks that you shouldn't travel with a 1, 2-year-old, whatever, like, do it. Just
you're
do it.
yeah, you're building memories with your family. And
Yeah,
that's
you can't beat
and,
that.
and also you're doing it at one of the hardest times. So then once they get older, it's like, all right, cool. We kind of we stuck this when they were younger.
Yep.
Now we got it down. And
And
now
it's proven that taking them around the world and exposing them to different things and different cultures builds natural curiosity. And
Mhm.
it's a healthy thing for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
I love it. I'm very supportive of that. And I try to get all of my friends who are having kids to not just go to, the classic, oh, we're just going to the same beach each year. Hey, if you're getting great memories out of it, that's fine. But I'm
yep,
always like, go if you can go to different cultures, go to different places and then it's going from, oh, well, it's too expensive. We don't have the money for that, or,
right.
we don't know how to, and it's just educating them there. And yeah, I think once
Yeah.
you realize it's possible, it's like, oh, okay, now we can do this and
Right.
we're gonna
And
do
and
it
look,
more.
yeah, I mean, if you have a beach house and that's what, the husband and wife both really like to do, and that's how there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, because you're building memories. Like okay, so you go down the shore every summer, and that's, you know, you're still building, you're leaving your home, you're going and doing something,
Hmm.
you're building memories of something other than being in your house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm supportive of that, but I just think that, if you can take them on some international trips, it's tough, right? Like it's definitely not easy packing with a young kid or young kids, but it's worth it.
Yeah. If you get first class, then you get extra baggage,
You
extra.
get all the baggage allowance, and my wife packs for my son, so
That makes it even better. That's too funny. What do you feel like there's like, I know we talked about Amex Platinum, Amex Gold just for business owners, but do you feel like there's any other just underused strategies that might be being overlooked by them?
man, I mean it's so specific, but like if I had a bottom line it, I'd be like, what do you spend the most on? I think for most people, having an ink preferred is a no-brainer. Transferable points, 3 times on ad spend. A lot of business owners have ad spend, and that's up to 150,000 a year. Great points. Um, you know, Amex Gold can be great. Amex Platinum is good for benefits. Nothing wrong with having it, just not an everyday spend card. And then I think having that good default, 2x card for everything not in a bonus category, or that you just need to give to people that aren't going to pay attention to bonus categories, or even just for employee cards, like make sure it's a 2x card, not a 1x card.
Yeah, no, I
That
agree.
adds up.
Yeah, that's my, I mean, for personal, I have one that's just 2x everything. And
Yeah,
I mean, it's a,
everyone should have one. I mean,
yeah,
there's just no reason to not be
yeah,
getting, 2% or 2x
yeah.
on everything.
I agree. Is there one from the, I know we talked about the Facebook group, but do you feel like there's like one use case from a business owner that they use their points and miles to just have like a what, just crazy experience, whether it was a trip or something just out of the ordinary that they may
Uh,
have thought was out of reach from the beginning?
you mean that I've helped people do, or
Yeah, yeah,
or
just helped or any favorite story from it.
I mean, my favorites are it's really either people I've done consults for, people in the Facebook group that come back with this has happened many times by now, where they took their honeymoon in, say, the Maldives, and they
Hmm.
flew first on Emirates or first on Etihad. They stayed in their overwater bungalow, and that they had a $60,000 trip for you know 500,000 points, something like that. And I love that. I
Yeah,
just love that because usually they'll tell me where they would have vacationed for their honeymoon, and it'd be like a really low key kind of plan. And then they were like, and then we discovered your group or whatever, and this is what we wound up doing. And
that's
I
awesome.
love, I love those stories. I mean, I think way more than earning money off this, I am motivated by people having better experiences.
Yeah,
Like you have to earn money to live, but if you can help other people enrich their own lives in the process, man, hashtag winning.
yeah,
Oh,
we're in
I
the
love what I do. I am excited every day to start work.
We are in the same boat on all those fronts. I mean, that's why I started this. I was planning, all our group trips, snowboarding over to Europe. I was racking up the points because I was, planning them. I wasn't
Right.
redeeming them just because I just wasn't, I just had all these points, but I was racking them up from all the group trips, and then having people pay me back, which was great.
Yep.
But just seeing, as we got older, as people started to get girlfriends, wives, we didn't do as many. We still have our annual snowboarding trip, but every
That's
single
awesome.
time it's just like, it could be 7 years and they're like that one trip we took to Europe, like I will never forget that. I would have never gone. Like I'd never been west of Pennsylvania and then I was in Croatia, just like right. Like we got to this island that was in a movie from Succession or from the show Succession that you can only get there by boat only. And like my friend sitting there, he's like, this is crazy. I don't even like seafood, but like
Was it Pag Island?
no, it was in Dubrovnik, so you had to
Oh,
take
okay.
a boat and the restaurant's called Bawa. It was
That's
like
awesome.
yeah, it was cool. But just some of those memories, it's just like those things are every single time it's like that was my favorite trip. Like thank you so much. And it's
Yep.
just hearing those memories. I mean, that's why I started this. And it's cool just to see people go through that and just have their eyes wide, jaws drop, and then after the trip, it's just like thank you. And then it just turns into a snowball. And I
It
think
is.
like you said, it's just getting over that hump for some people.
Yeah, and some of them it's about having one great trip.
Hmm.
And some of them it transforms the way they look at travel.
Hmm.
They're both great.
Yeah, yeah. It's just helping people out. And there's, some people sometimes we're talking about business owners, personal expenses. I get a lot of questions around this. Are there any like words of caution you say to business owners for best practices just around like mixing two with points?
Um, how do you mean in terms of
Yeah, just so like if So just expenses. I mean, and obviously I want to consult a CPA, but is there anything just like from a point standpoint? Sometimes people ask like, can I mix those and are there best practices, that type of stuff.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, definitely always have a different business card or set of business cards for your business. That's a no-brainer. The only, whatever the only stuff that goes in your tax software are your business cards. It is a complete wall. That doesn't mean like you could make a charge on a business card and this gets into like accounting, but like you could wind up taking that as a draw, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I once heard someone say, "Oh, if you do that, it pierces the corporate veil," and like not financial or legal advice, but no, it doesn't. Um, and so there's that. As far as mixing points, like they're everybody pools their points, right? Like literally everybody combines their business points and their personal points. Um, are you supposed to use your business points for business travel? I don't I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could find somebody that would tell you, yeah, the business earned it, so you do, and you should keep it separate and use it for your business. But I've never in my life met someone that actually would do that. First of all, that'd be a nightmare to even try and keep track of. Um, but second of all, I mean, it's not like the points aren't taxed, and I feel like because they're not a taxable event in the first place, um, they're just your points. Like, do what you want with them.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess one advice I would give is that I know there are people like Chase will, like you could combine a business account and a personal account all under one
Hmm.
account. I personally advise against that. Like I keep my Chase personal cards in a Chase personal account. It's got my Chase bank account, and then I've got a personal or a business Chase login, and that's got all my Chase business cards. And I just think it's good separation, right? Like, because a business it's my business is an LLC. It's an entity. It is separate from me.
Yep.
So yeah, I could transfer points from the company to my Hyatt account. Sometimes I'll use that to book a company stay, right? Like I might be going to a conference and the rates are astronomical and I can use my Chase points transferred to Hyatt, right? Like it's a great deal for the business.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I think that the main rule is just keeping your expenses separate. I mean, let's bottom line it. With American Express, you can't separate them, right? If you have a personal gold card and a business platinum card, it automatically pools into one membership rewards account. So it's that's it. It's done.
Yeah. Oh,
That's the
yeah.
way I look at it. I mean, you could definitely get a keyboard warrior to tell me why I'm completely off base on that. And so again, not financial advice, not legal advice, not tax advice.
Just your experience of doing it for
My opinion.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I got one final question before we got to run, but just
Yeah,
for business owners, I think, like we were talking about, sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm saving, all these points, or I've saved these for years." Like, what is your advice to them, or your thoughts on just
my
like
favorite
that?
question.
Yeah, that's why I saved it for last. We didn't even talk about this before, right? So,
No,
what's what's your thought about
this is
just?
absolutely my favorite question. There are so many people that treat points like cash in a bank account. And I mean, without getting into the economics of money in a bank account, earning money, but actually being worth less because of inflation. Um, like in points, so bank points, it's okay to accumulate bank points. This is actually like a nuance I should make. It's okay if you have a million Chase points. I think that's fine, right? Like you don't have to burn through your bank points, but if you have miles, take that trip because what I have witnessed over the years in terms of inflation of what it costs to book awards, I mean, it used to be 50,000 points was a business class trip to Europe. It just, what each way. And that was sort of the standard. And now we've got all of this dynamic pricing and, constant devaluations, constant unannounced devaluations. I mean, that 50,000 mile trip with Delta Sky Miles now, 375,000 miles, something like that. So the thing that pains me the most is if I hear somebody be like, yeah, I've got so many, like I've saved up 2 million miles, saving them for retirement, man. And I'm like, oh my God, you're literally going to retire and that's going to be one ticket. Like you,
Yeah.
in your mind, that's like travel for the rest of your life and it's going to be one ticket. So, the phrase I use, did not invent, but use all the time is earn and burn, right? Earn the points, spend the points, have experiences. Do I like to have a nice bank of points across all my programs for that next trip I want to take? Yes, absolutely. But and I do an analysis of cash or points, right? Like if I'm not going to get a good, decent value for the points or miles, I will spend cash. But I'm never going to spend cash against a good value of points, thinking I'm saving them for later and later and later and later because I mean, Hilton just went up to max 200,000 points per night, right?
Yeah.
Hilton moves categories up, hotels up in category every single year. Bonvoy just hiked a bunch of hotels. I don't know, I forget the average, 20%, something like that. A lot of high-end hotels. We know what's happened with airfare prices. I mean, Delta is no longer the only one with these ridiculous, American also like 300, 400, 500,000 points for a one-way trip. So like, and if you think it's bad now, at least now, like a lot of the foreign carriers still have these great fixed award charts. I mean, in 10 years, maybe everybody's dynamic, right? So like use those points, have those experiences.
Take advantage of it now. I agree. Yeah, I was talking to someone who had one of the Marriott cards. Like, yeah, I used to get my free nights would go a long way, and now they're like, I barely can stay at like a random hotel, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
with those. So it's like, but like you said, you have in the book, you have that sheet of hey, is this card worth it? And if you're not going
Right.
to use the free night, you're just spending that money. So yeah, it's
Yeah, if that's expiring every year, then it's not a benefit of the card anymore, right? Like the Marriott base cards, um, the under $100 cards, like the Boundless. So you get the 35K certificate and you can top it up to 50K. Right? I wish they wouldn't limit the top up. I feel
yeah,
like it would actually hide some of their devaluation if you could top up more. Um, but you get to a hotel that's 51K and you can't use your certificate anymore, which drives people absolutely nuts.
yeah, they just put a one
And
pay higher, and then you're like, what?
right, yeah. And so um if you like and some it can be hard, like especially if it's not a chain that you go to all the time. Right? Like I have an IHG business card, which I keep because you do get the annual free night, which covers the annual fee, and then you get the fourth night free. And you get platinum status. So I'm like, okay, IHG is not my place of choice, but I might stay there once a year, and so it's handy to have this. But yeah, I mean, like luckily they allow you to top up. I believe it's unlimited.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can use that certificate every year, right? But like the 35K Marriotts are getting pretty arduous. And by the way, the Hyatt category 1 to 4s, in my opinion, should be category 1 to 5s by now
Yeah.
because it is hard to get. Like I'll say like the loyalty consultant part of me is you need to let people have the great stay, right? Like, so if your certificates from the credit card, you're trying to foster people's engagement with your credit card and you're giving a certificate that they can't use for better than a Fairfield Inn or a Hyatt Place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
like I know there's a million different unit economics going into these programs, but give people memories, right? That's what makes them connect with your program.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And yeah, we grabbed the IHG personal one because we were doing our wedding hotel block at a Kempton and
Yeah.
got 26 times the points, got
Oh my God.
the welcome the welcome offer was 5 free nights at the time, and we were able
Yeah.
to redeem that. They have like a brand new Hotel Indigo down in Grand Cayman, and we're going down there, and it's like
Oh, wow.
$3,200 for 4 nights, and we used the other one. We were in Thailand on our honeymoon, so it's like,
I love that.
yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah,
that talk about extreme value out of a bonus.
yeah. We got our free nights, and we got home from our honeymoon. I'm like, well, we got another over 100K IHG points, so we're pretty set. So
Yeah. And I mean, hey, if you can accumulate some more and get some good value out of the fourth night free,
exactly,
right?
six is
So,
paid for it.
yeah. It's amazing. So that's I mean, like bottom line is this my favorite part of this whole thing is I've said it like 19 times already during this podcast, but it's experiences. I grew up that you don't waste money on, fancy hotels. Like you never pay for first class. And even today, I mean, every once in a while we'll go somewhere and can't use points. I really struggle with the cost of hotels. I mean, I want to stay somewhere nice because I'm used to it from points. And I'm like, I can't spend $1,000 a night on a hotel. So, I mean, it spoils you a little bit, but when you think about it, it's like, okay, by being in this hobby, um, I- I'm able to have those trips. I'm able to have the trips that I want, and we'll be on a trip. Like we just went to the Hyatt Ziva, in Dominican Republic, Cap Cana. Second year in a row. Almost never do that, but we loved it so much the first year, and our son loved it so much the first year we went back. And that place it's almost like $1,000 a night. I I can't swallow that. Like we went for 7 nights, and and there's a great example. I only got a little over 2 cents per point on that. It wasn't a killer redemption, but I would not have spent, with tax and everything, like $8,000 for a week at a hotel. I just wouldn't have. So you know what I mean? So it unlocks that. It's like allowing you your guilty pleasure. And I don't like, yeah, you could do all sorts of accounting math and figure out like what could I have earned in cash back and then blah 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 blah. No, enjoy your free trip.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the best way to end it. That's definitely a good ending point. But Dave, I really appreciate you coming on. This was super helpful. Where can our listeners find you on social media or go for more help?
Well, I am all over the place. So definitely join the Miles Talk Facebook group. That's number one. Obviously, I write daily at milestalk.com. Um, when you do it, so there's a book you can buy on Amazon called Miles Talk, but if you join the Facebook group, you get a link for a free download of the ebook. And I suggest that if you're just getting started, it's a very basic foundational intro to miles and points. Obviously, we talked a lot before about yourbestcreditcards.com. Awesome place to find a card, say updated with alerts on transfer bonuses and bonus offers. And then I'm on all the social media channels as at Miles Talk.
Awesome. And you got a YouTube channel coming here soon.
Yeah, I mean, you can search for Miles Talk on YouTube and subscribe. We just don't have much up there yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. If you're a first-time listener, make sure you give us a follow. That way you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you love the episode, make sure you give it a 5-star rating and review and share it with a family or friend. That's the only way we can grow the show and really appreciate everyone tuning in. We will see
I
you.
know I'm giving it 5 stars.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, appreciate you coming on, Dave.
Thank you so much for having me on.